Hey everyone, my name is Ida and welcome back to a not so funny video. Before I start this video, I just want to give a huge thank you to my friend EVJJ for making this beautiful Sona for this video and hopefully also for my videos in the future. And like always, a huge thank you to my friend Jonas for editing the video. But today's video is going to be a little bit different. Instead of playing Minecraft, I'm going to be reviewing 3 games that I found on Steam. So you just sit back and relax and enjoy the video. The first game is Traveler's Rest. A little game in the style of Stardew Valley, as you will see most of the Steam reviews agreeing on, both visual with the pixel art style and the gameplay mechanics such as farming crops and taking care of farm animals. In this game, however, there's a little bit of a different goal than Stardew Valley. In this game, you own a tavern where you serve customers food, drinks, and later on in the game rent out rooms and clean them again. In this world, you work your way up to sustain yourself with food products and resources to run your tavern. You cook meals and brew beer to sell and gain tech points to upgrade your knowledge and unlock new ingredients like pasta, cheese, new fruits, and veggies. You can also use these points to unlock new crafting and forging recipes to craft your own decorations and furniture. As for the story, yeah, there's not a lot here, which makes sense since the game is still in early access. You can go down south of the tavern to find a farm family who can sell you farm-related supplies for your farm, such as animal produce and animals themselves. They each have something to say as who they are and where they're from, but it's not something game-breaking. There's also some guys who set up camp north of the tavern, who only have something to say about this guy named Pharaoh who's trapped in ice and blocking the entrance to a cave. Okay, maybe there's some story implied, but it's not really anything just yet. But maybe in the final game. The only bad things I can think of has already been pointed out by the Steam reviews. Some people say it's trying too hard to be Stardew Valley, and though I can see the inspiration, I think this reviewer is both right and wrong. I can see the resemblance between the farming aspect of the game, but I think Traveler's Rest is trying their best to make their own game as well. The sound design is quite different from Stardew, and the map is a little bit more limited here. Stardew is quite story-driven, but Traveler's Rest is just a relaxing tavern sim. Other people think that the game development is too slow. Now, I have only been playing this game for a little while now, but not long enough to know this. But looking back at some screenshots of the game, I can tell the graphics have had a pretty big overhaul, and owning farm animals was a recent update that occurred about the same time I bought the game, which was a few months ago. Someone also mentioned the cooking part of the game. So far, there's a lot of different dishes to cook, and depending on the amount of ingredients and which ones you put in, it can alter the price of the dish. Which isn't bad, that's an alright mechanic, and I didn't think much about it until this review. The guy basically just said that in the end, it doesn't matter what dishes you cook or how big the variety is. It doesn't change anything. Sure, it changes the price, but only by a few silver coins if you're lucky. This is quite annoying for some people, and I think I have an idea on how to fix this. I think a better way of encouraging people to cook more foods is to have picky eaters. Let's say a customer walks in and finds out you only serve bread. This customer isn't a big fan of plain bread and would leave the tavern to eat somewhere else. This is also more realistic and would make more people willing to serve a bigger variety. It would also not alter the game so much that players would be forced to, as it would probably only be a few customers. But I don't know, let me hear what you guys think. The last sorta bad thing I would say is that the game is a little hard to figure out at first. There's a tutorial to teach you about the game, but at first I felt like everything was being thrown at me all at once. It didn't take me too long to figure it out myself though, so it was fine. However, developers, please include the shop in the tutorial. Seriously, I spent about 15 minutes looking around and googling where the shop was, if there even was a shop. And it wasn't easy since apparently the fan base of this game is quite small. I eventually found the shop. It was the mailbox. You interact with the mailbox to order and buy stuff. But anyway, apart from that, I really liked this game, and before I knew it, I had spent 20 hours in the game. Very relaxing and cozy and quite enjoyable. Personally, I was never bored since I always had a goal to expand the tavern or try cooking new recipes, and therefore planting new crops. Oh yeah, and by the way, I forgot to say this, you can kick out angry customers with your broom. That's a feature. You can just hit them with your broom if they're angry and force them to leave. I like that feature. My rating for the game? I think I would give it an 8 out of 10. Very good, but needs a little improvement. But like I said, it's an early access, so we should see improvement in the future. The second game is Frog Detective. So this game was actually recommended to me by a friend of mine, and when I looked at it on Steam, it looked pretty interesting. This game is very different from the last game I talked about, since it's a point-and-click style detective game. Basically, in this game, you're a frog who works as a detective to solve a mystery. Pretty simple, right?
Plug.
We start out in a pretty sad room. Yeah, there's not a lot going on in here. Where the phone rings. It's our supervisor calling us after he got back from a vacation to tell us he's got a case for us. Apparently, there's a sloth being haunted by a ghost, and after hiring a ghost scientists team, it hasn't helped. Yeah, no, that's... ghost scientists? So, the sloth called for our best detective, which isn't actually us, it's a lobster, but he wasn't available, so we'll have to do. After accepting the job, the supervisor turns into Mario and gives us further detail on the case. We travel to the scene on a boat, since this is all going on an island in the middle of absolutely nowhere. Here we meet some interesting characters. I will try not to talk too much about the game, since I don't want to spoil it, in case anyone wants to play it themselves, so I'll just try to go more in depth with the graphics and mechanics of the game. The graphics are kinda simple, and it reminds me of like a polygon style. That's not what it is, but it kind of makes me feel like that. Actually, the graphics kind of remind me of Donut County. You know, the like hole game where you eat people in a hole. You've seen it. The animations are very smooth though, which I was honestly not expecting when I first saw it.
Oh my god!
The gameplay here is very much a case of collect items to give them to characters so they can give you new items that you need to progress the game. Each character had their own quirks, and overall the game is quite silly. Not that I mind it at all, I love when games just lean into the silly nature of it. I mean, it's a game about a frog being a detective. Of course it's gonna be silly. Anyway, I don't have a lot to say about it. I think the story was alright, and I think the style is cute. Personally, I wasn't the biggest fan of this game, mainly just because there's too much dialogue in my opinion. But the game wasn't bad. I did find myself having fun with it when I got to explore the island, and some of the characters were kind of funny. However, this is just not my type of game. But maybe it's yours. If you like quirky and silly games like this and is a fan of point-and-click adventure games, and also don't mind dialogue, then I can definitely recommend it. But if you're more like me and enjoy free roaming and making your own choices type of games, then you should probably pass. However, it is only 4.99 euros, so it's pretty cheap. And since it only takes an hour at max to complete, I guess you can always just give it a try and refund it if you don't like it. There's a total of 3 games so far, and this was the first one in the series. And you know what? Maybe the 2 other games are much better than this one. I don't know, since I haven't played it, and I probably won't, but you can always tell me in the comments if you have tried it or decide to do so. I don't really know what else to say, but I will try to rate it from an overall view instead of my own view, since I'm not a big fan of the genre, but the game was actually good. I think I'll give it a 7 out of 10. It's short, it's good, and it's very affordable. The ending dragged out a bit maybe, but it was an alright game. I had fun playing it. The third game is Life of Fly. Now, I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I have no idea how this ended up in my Steam library. It's been there for a while, and I have never played it, so I figured, hey, now seems like a good time. So having absolutely no expectations to this game, I was very surprised to see that this game was, hold on, 12.49 euros. And the game takes up 7 gigabytes of space. That doesn't sound like a lot, but for a game that I don't even know how I got, this was not expected. I thought this would be a small game, but no, apparently it's quite big. Also, after reading the reviews, I'm not sure who I should listen to. Some people say it's relaxing, others say it's dead out boring. But I'll try not to judge before playing the game. And after playing it, this game remains a mystery to me. Maybe we should get that frog detective on the case. I don't know where to start. And that is not in a good way. Seriously, this game is bad in so many unexpected ways. The only good thing I can say about this game is the graphics, and not even that works out in the game's favor. Look, I was ready to be blown away at a game about a fly, a philosophical experience that might have something valuable to put into the world. But I could not be more wrong. I don't even think the game itself knows what it wants to be. Seriously, what's up with level 3? What is this place? Is this a horror game now? Why are there dead bodies wrapped up hanging from the ceiling? Is this a torture chamber? Why did we go from a cafe to this? Before I forget it, I should probably tell you what the game is actually about.
Slay!
You are a fly, flying through a level, trying to hit these golden rings, and every time you do, a narrator tells you a little bit more of the story that this level is about. How could that be so bad? I don't know either, but it was. I didn't even bother finishing it. I played 3 levels, and the first one was just an introduction. What exactly is wrong with this game, you ask? Oh boy, I hope you're ready for a ride, cause you're gonna get one. Let's just start from somewhere. The sound design. Oh my god, what were they thinking? I'm playing what is supposed to be a relaxing, philosophical game about what it's like being a fly. And the music blasting in my ears are from a retro aesthetic Instagram story. This is not what the vibe was supposed to be. This was not the vibe the game was going for. Even in the menu, I felt like I was about to play a racing game, when in reality, I was gonna be flying slowly through a huge room trying to hit glowing rings. And that brings me on another topic, the controls. They weren't terrible, but they were pretty bad. It was hard to navigate, and as you can see in the gameplay video, I forgot which button was up and down all the time. But okay, maybe that's just me being stupid and not understanding inverted controls. But what about the camera? You cannot turn the camera on your own. It only follows you slowly when you turn around, which makes it really hard to navigate these areas. I had a hard time finding most of the rings because of this, and as you can see, I'm just flying aimlessly around trying to find them. The lighting doesn't make it better either. I mentioned the graphics before, and from an outside perspective, they look great, but when playing, it's actually quite annoying. The walls were just as bright as the rings were, so I could never tell if I was hitting them right, and if I missed, I had to make a U-turn and go all the way back to try again. What I'm trying to say is, don't buy this. It's way too expensive and you're better off just listening to a podcast. This game should have been free, not 12 euros. I can't emphasize that enough. Please, for the love of God, go watch YouTube or listen to a podcast. You'll have way more fun with that, and it's free. Don't waste your time or money. Rating? 2 out of 10. It could have been good. It had potential, but it did not live up to that at all. And that was all I had for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. I think I'm gonna try making more commentary review videos in the future because I really enjoyed it, and I feel like it's just much easier for me to make these kind of videos since I have a script to like read and like I have something to say instead of playing a video game and trying to think of something funny. I will try to continue my Minecraft series if you guys want to watch it, but I think I'm gonna focus more on these types of videos in the future. And once again, thank you so much to my friends for helping me make this video. You can find their channels in the description below. But other than that, I hope to see you next time.